Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to give you all a second to get on here. How was your guys' Tuesday? How was your guys' homework? That's what I want to know most about. I know a lot of you watched the replay, so I would really, really like to know how that went for you. What breakthroughs you had, how many times you caught yourself saying some sort of habitual negative energy towards money. So let me know. This is supposed to be a very interactive course. So because a lot of you guys are catching the replay, it's very important to comment your questions, very important to comment your breakthroughs, your thoughts of any sort on the replay of the live. So let's go a little deeper. So day 2, as you can tell by the title here, this is about subconscious stories versus quantum laws. So we're going to dive into the subconscious today. We did that a little bit yesterday, but really yesterday was about getting to ground zero, the foundations, where your current emotions, where you currently lie when it comes to money, when it comes to wealth. So now that we've gotten really real with that principle as to where you stand, it's all about recognizing when you're creating these energy linkages that are repelling money from you. So now we're going to go even deeper, and I want you guys to know that these habits that we have when creating these negative emotions behind bills, behind money, behind debts, behind, paying for something. I want to break the ice here and just say first off, there's nothing wrong with you. It's not your fault. Our subconscious is a powerful thing. And when we are young, between the ages of approximately 0 and 7, is mostly when we're literally like this walking subconscious mind, and we're taking in everything. We're taking in everything so literally in our minds. So whether it was, and this is very common, clients that I've dealt with, dealing with, struggles of money, lack of money when they were a kid, and just hearing it all over the place. Like, I know for me, I would hear things like, I would sense the negative energy that was behind money. I would sense this, feeling that money was bad, never having enough. I saw the stress that it created for my mom, for my parents. I saw the stress of not being able to pay bills. We having food, going and getting food stamps, staying at random people's houses, not knowing, just always struggling when it came to it. We moved a lot because at the time I didn't know. But thing is you soak those things in, and they can become your subconscious truth so easily. Something that you dealt with that young in life can dictate your life right now. And oftentimes it does. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about why you are where you are. The habitual energy that you have around money, that you were catching yourself in within these last 24 hours of how you talked about it, how you felt about it, the energy you had behind it. Those instant reactions that you got when thinking about it. In the last 24 hours, our homework was just consciously recognizing them and reiterating them into something positive, some sort of gratefulness practice. So now I want you to think about why it is that that's brought about. And I think this is important because we can recognize that it's not our truth. This subconscious story that I had around money, because based off of my childhood, took me a very long time to recognize. I'm 25 years old. I probably recognized that story was not my truth, and that it was my parents' truth. like when I was like 22 or maybe even 23, very recently. We grew up to be so similar to our parents, not necessarily, I mean, yes, because of DNA, genetics, and all that stuff, but mostly because we are surrounded by it all the time. We're surrounded by our parents all the time. We pick up on things. Like when you hang out with a friend, you end up picking up on some of the things that they do, how they speak, all the things. Same with your significant other, which is why your relationships are very important, who you're keeping yourself around, but that's another topic. But it's not your fault. You have made the decision to drop your email wherever you dropped it, to get into this masterclass and to start again. You've made the decision that you're ready to make a change energetically and to create a new story for yourself. And you can do that. The subconscious is like, it's like magic. It's why hypnosis exists. I don't know if you guys have ever been hypnotized. I remember being hypnotized like on a stage one time, like in high school, and never being able to, I was so intrigued with it after that happened because I didn't know how it happened. Like people would always ask me like, oh my God, did it really work? You know, like we were like doing these crazy things like in front of everybody on stage. I didn't know how to describe it. I was like, yeah, kinda. I mean, you know, like they tell you you're really cold and all this stuff, and then like you don't physically feel cold, but you make the reactions of being cold. Or like something smells really bad, you know, telling you like smells like this, smells like that, and then your face gets all like, ew, that stinks, but you don't really smell anything. It's like the placebo effect, right? Well, that's how our subconscious works. And in hypnosis, that's what brings it about, is getting into those, I think it's I'm not like 100% all into the hypnosis thing and all the technical things, but I believe it's the theta waves that they reach into and get into the hypnosis stage where basically your subconscious is present and is taking everything in very literally. So when you do a hypnosis, it goes straight to your subconscious, and it can be so easy for you to act on that because that is now your truth. You've recreated your truth. This is why we practice meditation. This is why I preach meditation, because you get into the subconscious, you get into the theta waves, and you're able to affirm something different. You're able to like do your own custom affirmations, gratitude, be able to talk, like say things like money flows to me effortlessly. Money flows to me with ease. It's so easy for me to manifest money, all of the things. I say these things very often. And we need to get rid of the energy that money is bad. I mean, like I said, what's the energy that you have behind it? When you see millionaires or something, you think that they're like just bad people. They're just like they're selfish or whatever it is. We think that money, like there's a quote out there, the money is the root of all evil, whatever it is. But really money, it just allows us to be able to be even more of who we are, and we can supply so much more goodness into the world by having it in the first place. We need to reconnect with what money is. It's just an energy, and it can allow you to put so much goodness into the world. Like I said, supply to foundations, help somebody out with this, like supply people with jobs, so many different things. And because you might have this subconscious truth that money is evil, because for me and maybe for you, whatever your story is, your subconscious truth is what you saw when you were a child, and you saw that it supplied a lot of negative energy and stress around you. And so your subconscious saw that, and you've never gotten back to it. You've never gotten back to recreating what that truth really is for you. We get to create our own truths. Isn't this so exciting? Isn't that so exciting and so liberating to know this? Like, I want you to know this and a level of certainty in your mind right now that you get to create your own truths. Oftentimes we get stuck in society norms. and how we were raised and this relationship that we're in, friendship or love relationship, whatever it is. We get wrapped up in how they're doing things, how somebody else says something is right. But I want you to recognize that you can create your own truth. So once you've really identified where your current subconscious truth is stemming from, feel free to comment it, and I can give you some insight. But that first step is recognizing it, recognizing that it's not your truth, that you get to recreate that you're living off of a past truth. You get to recreate that. You don't get to pass that on to your children and their children's children, the same exact thing. You get to recreate it. You guys hear my reggae music going on in the background? I'm curious if maybe like 2 o'clock is not a good time for you guys. And if it's not, comment me that too. There's too many of you guys that like think 2 o'clock is not a good time, because I'm seeing there's nobody like live again. Let me know. I can do a different time. In fact, tomorrow I might, just to test it out. I want you to know, who is it that said this? Melanie Layer. She is a high-level business entrepreneur, spiritual coach. And I was in one of her master classes the other day, and she said something that really stuck with me, and that is that information is different than integration. Because, guys, you can get all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't act on it, nothing's going to happen. You can know all of the things, but you just sitting watching this masterclass or sitting and watching a different one and knowing these things but not actually integrating them, not actually actively pursuing the change, there will be no change. And I did this for so long, and that's why that stuck out to me, is because I seeked out knowledge for so long. All the books, all the podcasts, all the documentaries, all of the everything. But I just had so much knowledge in my mind, but I wasn't really acting upon it. And I want you to know that too, that it's more than just reading the book, reading the podcast, doing the masterclass. It's about integrating. Okay, so now that we've talked about that, I wonder if that all makes sense to you guys. These subconscious truths of your parents saying this is too expensive, you can't have this, you can't have that, and your subconscious mind's like literally like your parents said that, you know, money is hard and you work really hard to have money, there's just not enough. And you haven't worked on that since. And there's like this blockage in your mind that still thinks that money's bad. Things are too expensive. There's not enough money. Maybe you don't even recognize that you feel these ways and you think these things unless you do some deep soul searching and really recognize that you do. They really seem to hide way back. And I recommend a lot of journal prompts to be able to bring these things forward. But now that we've talked about that, and we talked about subconscious stories, we've talked about the foundations, where your energy, where your emotions lie with money, and how that can either accelerate or repel money. I want to talk about, we talked about stories, now we're going to talk about quantum laws. So the quantum, it's a very expansive thing. But I want to touch on some things because I want you to recognize that stories are just stories, but these are laws. These are laws that govern our universe. and they're undeniable. Think about that as I talk about these. Don't forget that. The first thing that I want to say in the quantum realm, in quantum physics, that all possibilities exist. All possibilities. The possibility of you being broke on the street somewhere in God knows where, and the possibility of you being a millionaire in your dream home, in the dream house, in the dream relationship. Both of those exist. As do many more. All of those exist, and we want to go even deeper in it. There is like quantum realms, quantum decisions you make that are constantly playing out for you. You just have to choose which quantum path you want to go in. You get to choose. And we're going to go really far into this in day 3 tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be like my favorite day. So make sure to tune into that one. But we get to choose in the quantum realm. There is limitless opportunity. Isn't there like a quote or something maybe by Einstein's, like, the limit does not exist or something like that? It doesn't. Everything is limitless. The limit does not exist. There are multiple realms. There are multiple, like, realities that you can choose. So which one are you choosing? Every decision you make points you in that different possibility, but they all exist. So that's one principle within the quantum that I want to talk about with you guys. Second one, and if you have any questions about these, of course, feel free to type it in the comments, and I will make sure to get back to it, okay? But the other one, there's so many more of these, by the way, but I'm going to touch on the ones that I teach the most to my clients. The second one is the law of oneness. And so what this states is, yesterday I talked a little bit about how everything is energy. I'm energy, you're energy, this tapestry's energy, this headband, the phone, everything. It's all energy. And when you actually look into the definition of energy, you'll see that no matter how far apart 2 different energy sources are, they're actually intertwined and connected. You can say something to like somebody subconsciously, like have them meditate. There's been studies on this. Meditate about sending love and gratitude and healing and blessings to this person across the world, and they have no idea you're doing it or when you're doing it, and they're like connected to like neural brainwave scans and stuff like that, and they'll feel it. Their energy levels will change. We are connected. We are not separate. We are all one. This isn't some spiritual woo-woo shit that like doesn't make sense and is just all this crazy spiritual stuff. It is a quantum law. It is a law of the universe. And I like to reference this in ways so that you can understand that there is no difference between you and your dream home. Your dream home is energy. The wood, the floors, the windows, it's all energy. Your energy. You're connected. You are connected. There's no separation between the two of you. It's just a vibrational plane. The reality you choose. Maybe in your mind you're not dreaming about the big house because you feel like it's too big and you can't do that. So you're going to like go for something that's a little less expensive and kind of in your realm, but it's not your dream home. But that's the vibration that you're choosing. You're choosing to lower. You're choosing to choose the one that doesn't seem like too much. Grow! This big guy's about to jump off the roof. Just knocked over my kombucha. Sorry guys, you might hear some dogs barking. My boyfriend just got home and yeah. I have 3 dogs. I have a German Shepherd, a Chihuahua, and a German Shorthair. So, you get to choose. Okay, we're going to go really deep into that in the next one. In the next live tomorrow. There is no difference. There's no difference between you and the dream job. That is also an energy. That is also a quantum reality that you get to choose. You get to choose to vibrate at that level. You get to choose that whatever decision that is. If you just listen, I could do a whole other masterclass or course on just intuition, but your intuition is telling you everything that you need to do to get to where you want to be. But we push it away. We don't listen to it very often. But if you choose to, you will be at that level so much faster. It's trying to get you there. It's trying to make you make the decisions to reach that vibrational level. We're talking a lot about vibration because that's what tomorrow is about. My favorite quantum law of the universe, especially for manifesting. We'll talk about it briefly. That'll be the next one. But basically what this is, we touched on a little bit yesterday. But the law of vibration is the quantum law that not only everything is energy, but it is also a frequency, is also a vibration. So everything down to its atoms, down to its core, has a certain frequency, has a certain vibration. So we get to choose the frequency that we play at. So, like I said, we will go I don't want to give too much on this because we're going to go very deep into that subject tomorrow. So make sure to tune into that one because it's going to be my favorite day. And I have a couple more. Well, I'll touch on the next one, the law of attraction. So this is a very popular law. This is the one that was introduced in the documentary that was just super successful, The Secret. But I think that this in some ways gave a misconstrued rep about manifesting, because the law of attraction really states that what you think about, you bring about, right? Which is also true. Like I said yesterday, it activates the reticulating activating system, which basically the things that you're constantly seeing and envisioning, visualizing, your brain will go out and subconsciously seek it out, and you'll find it coming to you. But that's a very baseline understanding of it. That's where you start when it comes to manifesting. The law of vibration is the next step up. It's the energy, the emotion, the vibration that you have behind those things. The acting, the being. But I just want to make that clear that they are different. And the law of attraction really just touches the surface. What you think about, you bring about. So what are you thinking about all the time? What are you thinking about every day? And then the law of vibration is the vibration behind it, right? But it's good. See, this is what I'll talk about first. It's good to visualize and think about and almost daydream about the reality that you want every single day. Your brain sees it. It's familiar with it. It goes out and it tries to bring those in. But only if you create a positive vibration behind it. You do this by being a vibrational match to it. But if you tie that to a negative vibration, then it's because like you're thinking of it and you're saying like, oh man, someday I'll get there. Right now I'm just not at a place and I don't know if I'll ever get there. When you're visualizing these things all the time, more of like a daydream that's never going to happen, then it's going to repel those things. It's going to be a negative vibration linked with that dream reality, that visualization of yours, and it's going to repel it away from you. Does that make sense? All right, next one. This is not necessarily a law, but it is a principle of the quantum, an indisputable, basically, law of the universe that governs our world. And that is the fact that time in the quantum does not exist. We invented time. When you think about that, doesn't it just kind of give you like this sigh of relief? I mean, unfortunately, we don't get to act upon that, right? Like, we don't get to, like, go to work whenever we want. We have to be there at 8 o'clock sharp or whatever. But, but in the quantum, time does not exist. So, the quantum, by the way, I didn't really mention this, is basically the energy around us. All of the tiny little atoms and vibrations and energy all around us that govern the world that we're in. This energy is in anything. Everything all around us. at my fingertips inside me, and the trees over here, everywhere. That's the quantum, at their own frequency, at their own vibration. And it gets a lot more complicated, but you can do your research more on that if you'd like. But in that quantum, time does not exist. And I like to talk about this specifically because every time that we set goals and we say, I'm going to be an entrepreneur by 2025, or I'm going to make, I don't know, 5K a month in my business by 2025. Like, you set this goal for you that seems reasonable. Or even if you say that, I want to hit 5K in my business in 2021 or by the end of 2020. I don't care what it is. Time doesn't exist, right? So when you set goals based off timelines, what you're really doing and what you're really vibrating at, what you're really telling the universe is that you're willing to wait. You're not ready for it now. You're really creating this boundary, this circumstance, this restriction as to when you're willing to receive it. And via the quantum, via these laws of the universe, you can have everything now if you have that level of certainty, that positive expectation behind it, which is all about what day 4 is going to be about. And what blocks us is that certainty. There's always this level of doubt, like, can it really happen? And that's why we're talking about it last, is because it's the last thing to get out of the way. Do you see what I mean here? For the longest time I pushed aside, like, travel. I was going to do it at this time, and then this time, and then maybe this time's better, and then this time's better. You know why? Because the universe is going to give you more time all the time. It's going to make you wait. Because you said you weren't willing to have it now. You're willing to wait. Until after the debt's paid, until after the car's paid off, until after the credit card's paid, until after all these things like we talked about yesterday. We can choose to say that you want this now. And you will act so much faster. Because the universe says, oh shit, she's ready now. Why not be ready now? We're always so scared. Like, I think that this really hit me too for a while. I didn't think that I was scared. I thought that I was so ready. But are you really? Like, are you really ready for the manifestation that you want? Or are you too comfortable where you're at? Are you really ready for the 5K a month? What will you do? What decisions will you make? What will you do with it? Will you hire somebody? Will you be ready to take on that many clients and that much responsibility? We prolong the process because we're scared in that way. We're scared of who we will. We're scared if we're ready. Well, let me tell you that ready it's a lie. Ready makes no sense whatsoever. If everybody that tried something new and invented something new and did something spectacular that was new was never ready for it. Obviously, they've never done it before. They had to hop in with no experience whatsoever at some point. You weren't ready. You decide to be ready. And then it's a growing process from there. You don't hop in being absolutely perfect. Rachel Bell says it best. Messy action is better than no action. But once you decide to hop in and decide to do that messy action, decide to say yes, decide to say that you're ready for growth, the universe sees that, and it's ready to hand you that growth in return. But if you hand it waiting, if you hand it restrictions that you're not ready yet, you're willing to wait until this time, then you'll stay stagnant, and that will be your choice. And the last universal law that I want to talk about is the law of cause and effect, and this is something known as karma. Well, this works in many different ways. Like, what you put out, you receive, right? But I want to put this in terms of abundance, wealth, money. Like, this is like all down to the energetics of, like, Are you tipping well? Are you giving people what they deserve? If you have employees, are you giving them what they deserve? Are you putting your best energy forward? Are you not present throughout your day, not paying attention to your waitress, not paying attention to your customers, not really caring about the person on the other end of the phone or the discovery call or the whatever it is? Because if you infuse that, like I said kind of yesterday, when you infuse that with a negative energy, with a stagnant energy, not with this high level radiant energy, then you'll receive stagnant energy that will get you nowhere if you're not present and putting in that energy. That's how I like to relate this law of cause and effect. Karma is not bullshit. It is absolute truth. What you give other people, what you put out into the world energetically, is what you will receive. So I like I said, relate this in ways of your presence throughout the day, like energy you're putting out daily, the attention you're giving to people, the energy behind it. So, like I said, tomorrow is going to be all about the law of vibration, diving really deep into the law of vibration, the act of being, the act of matching a frequency. We're going to talk a little bit about quantum leaping. This stuff is the next level juicy stuff. So for that, let me see. Tomorrow is Wednesday. I'm in a bridal party, so I have like a bunch of stuff that I'm doing tomorrow, but let's do, we're gonna do 10:30 tomorrow here live in the morning. Let's see if this works better for you guys. And we're going to be diving all into that. So, for your guys' homework today, on top of yesterday, is of course identifying the subconscious stories that you have and where they originated from. And if you feel comfortable to share them in our group, then feel free to do that. And then I can give some insight on it, and you would be surprised at the level of transformation that you get from thinking. So having to write it down makes you think about it so much more, and you can realize exactly where that comes from so much better. And then feel free to also share your favorite quantum law that I described, or law of the universe, because they're all pretty interesting. And if there's one that you want me to touch specifically on that you think that is important. So I'll see you guys here tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. And make sure to post your homework here on this video or on another stream or whatever it is that you got to do. And I will see you all tomorrow. Have fun with your guys' homework.